This is the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G, one of the Tecno Camon 20 series that was just launched in Nigeria. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G, how much of a difference it is when you compare it with last year's version, that is the 19 Pro 4G. And of course, something I have observed about this phone that really should make you not want to get this phone. This device comes in two main colors. We have the Pre-Dawn Black and the Serenity Blue, and it goes for about 154,400 Naira, which when you convert it to dollars is about $210. Now, when it comes to build quality and design, it is made of recycled plastic. One of the first things you're going to notice about this phone is the fact that it doesn't come with the magic skin that we find in other Tecno Camon series phones, like the one we have right here in the Tecno Camon 20. And really, only Tecno can explain the reason why they chose not to put the magic skin in the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G. However, it has this dual tone finishing at the back that makes it still looks a little bit premium and cool. The sides, however, doesn't have the matte finishing like the rear. Instead, it has a glossy finishing that actually attracts a lot of fingerprints. You might want to reduce that by using the TPU case that comes in the packaging. Unlike the last year version that had the fingerprint on the side, Tecno decided to move the fingerprints on the screen. And that's another improvement when you compare the 20 Pro 4G and the 19 Pro 4G of last year. Now let's talk about the display. We have a 6.67 inches AMOLED display with a 120Hz refresh rate and a 1080p resolution. And that is a slight improvement when we compare it to what we had last year with the Tecno Camon 19 Pro that had an LCD display. Now, when it comes to the 120Hz refresh rate, you can actually switch between 100, 90, or even 60Hz, depending on the one you want to use. But I will always advise you use the auto switch refresh rate because in that case, your smartphone gets to determine the refresh rate that best suits whatever it is you're using the phone for at that particular moment. Out of the box, the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G comes with Android 13 and iOS 13. And as usual, there isn't any official statement from Tecno as to how many years of Android update this smartphone is going to be getting. But if we want to consider other Camon editions before, then we know that we can at least get 2 years update. So that means we may be getting Android 14 and Android 15. And in terms of battery, it comes with a 5000 mAh battery along with a 33-watt charger. It will take about an hour 15 minutes for you to be able to get full charge on this smartphone. The Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G is powered by the MediaTek Helio G99 processor, and that's another improvement when we compare to what we had with the 19 Pro 4G of last year that was powered by the MediaTek Helio G96 processor. And when I try to review both processors, you can see that when it comes to GPU and gaming performance, the MediaTek Helio G99 processor is slightly better. But however, where it does so well and so much better than the G96 is in terms of efficiency in battery consumption. And that was evident when we tried to play Call of Duty Mobile on this device. We actually played it for about 30 minutes and were able to do so without hitches or lags for that 30 minutes with medium graphics and high frame rates. Another very outstanding thing we observed is that the battery lost just 9% of its value within that 30 minutes of gameplay. And that, like I said before, is one of the big advantages of the MediaTek Helio G99 processor. Finally, let's talk about the cameras. The Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G has a 64 megapixel main camera that supports HDR, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, an AI camera, and at the front, 32 megapixel front-facing cameras. Here are pictures I took with the 64 megapixel main cameras and the AI camera side by side. You can see that when it comes to taking street view and other pictures that really doesn't have a human subject in focus, the pictures looks a bit great and really no much difference between the 64 megapixel and the AI cameras. Here are some pictures I took with human subjects in the picture. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. But if you ask me, for the caliber of this phone and the price point at which is coming, it's quite disappointing the pictures that is coming out of this smartphone. Even when I tried to go indoors to take some very good pictures, the stories were still the same. They just weren't good enough to my expectations. Now, the reason why I was even more surprised is because when I tried to compare it with the pictures taken from my Tecno Camon 20, this just seems better, even though it has a lower price point. Making me feel like, is it a deliberate action from the manufacturers to just make us buy the 5G variant of it? Because I've actually seen the review of the 5G variant and the pictures taken by it are so much better than that taken by the 4G. The only part where I had a pretty good experience was using the sky shop mode that allows me to change the sky. The pictures were fine, the details were okay, and that is basically all I can say about it. So really, when it comes to picture taking, if that is one of the things you want to be doing with this phone, then really I would not recommend you getting the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G. Videos on the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G can be taken at highest 2K at 30 frames per second with no form of stabilization at all. But what you can do is that you can downtone it to 1080p and turn on the ultra steady mode, and then you'll be able to get some form of stabilization on your videos. And even when I switched the 32 megapixel front-facing cameras, the experience was no better. But still, let me know what you think about these pictures in the comment section below. Hey YouTube, this is the 2 megapixel front-facing camera of the Tecno Camon 20 Pro 4G. HDR is turned off because I'm shooting at 2K at 30 frames per second. What do you think about the quality of the video? Let me know in the comment section below. With HDR turned on, I can only shoot at 1080p at 30 frames per second. As you can see, the dynamic range is way better, as I can see those wires right far away behind me, and that just seems to give a better video than even the 2K without the HDR turned on. So here is my final verdict. If you had a Tecno Camon 19 Pro of last year, should you be upgrading to this device? Well, the answer for me would be no. I know that there are some slight improvements in terms of display. We now have an AMOLED display and also the processor improving slightly. But the fact is that's just about it. You don't get better cameras, and if you need to upgrade, I would advise you go for the 5G variant of the Tecno Camon 20 Pro. That will give you better cameras and of course better processor. And if you are going for this smartphone for the first time, I would advise you go for the Redmi Note 12S, which is about the same price point but gives you almost the same processor and definitely way better cameras. Or better still, you could buy the 5G variant of it or get the Tecno Camon 20 Premium. And if you find this video informative, do not forget to click on the subscribe button down below and also hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified when I post the review of the Tecno Camon 20, which I feel is a way better device than this one. I'll see you in that next video. Thank you.